Welcome on in, everyone. So I had to just make sure that I didn't mute my mic like last time. But hi. It's a little inconvenient with like the intro song and then switching to Spotify. Hmm. I'll have to think of something. But yeah, welcome on in. First stream of the year. It doesn't feel any different. Time is a concept made up by humanity, and yeah. Do you guys do anything fun for New Year's? Because personally, I was in bed by like 10:30. I think I put on the Discord like Happy New Year's. I like yeah, like 10:30 and I went to bed immediately after. In fact, same with my friends. Maybe we were just getting old. But that's not true because one of them decided that to bless their new year, they were gonna sit under a table, eat 12 grapes and something to do with chimes right at midnight so it blesses their new year or some other nonsense like that. Hmm. It was a little odd. I think it's like a Spanish tradition. None of us are from Spain, so I think they just saw it on like TikTok or something. Hi, Goldie. Welcome on in. Happy New Year to everyone. I forgot to mention that starting the stream. How's your day been? Pretty productive. Finished another model. We'll probably mostly finish this one today. Fingers crossed. But yeah, how have you been? How was your New Year's? I am a boring cat. I just went to bed early. Yeah. But to celebrate, I did buy a pizza, which I ate half of yesterday. Finished off the leftovers. It was a good day. I didn't do anything for New Year's or Christmas. Yeah, that's okay. Me neither. I was just what did I do? Oh, I think one of those days I just decided to take it easy and I was just playing Original Sin 2. I may be the slightest bit addicted, but here's the thing. The more I play, the less time I spend doing art. The less time I spend doing art, the more guilty I feel about not doing art. And then that guilt decides to motivate me to work extra efficiently. So I end up working like 2, 3 times as fast to make up for the time that I, in quotes, wasted. So at the end of the day, the work is still being done. You did say earlier it was a lesser Baldur's Gate game. Yeah. It's basically Baldur's Gate, but much lower budget. Like you can see it in the voice acting, the art. It was also like an older game. I don't think they were like, yeah, I don't think they had the biggest budget, especially not compared to like Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is like a cinematic masterpiece. This one is more of just like a typical RPG experience, in my opinion. I still love it though. It feels very similar to Baldur's Gate. But if you go in expecting Baldur's Gate 3 quality, you'll be disappointed at first, but then you slowly get used to it and then you start liking it. If you treat it as its own thing that is similar, it's fine. If you treat it as like Baldur's Gate again, I don't think you'll enjoy it. Same with Baldur's Gate 2. I think it's very similar. When was it even released? Hold on. I know it's old. This was released in 2017. Oh, okay. That's what, 9 years ago? Honestly, for a 9-year-old game, it's pretty good. It was also on Steam sale. It was like super cheap. And one of my friends actually played it like in ye olden times and was like, yeah, you should try it. He's like, two, buy it if it's less than like $10. And one, only get it if it's free. That was his recommendation. A part of me finished like the art for this thing. I think like an hour or so before stream, and I was like, can I squeeze in an hour of original sin? But I'm like, no, that is way too much. You know what? Maybe tomorrow I shouldn't touch it. I should miss it a little more. So when I play it, yeah, I'm savor it instead of binging it. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Yeah. Mm, hold on. So I was just concentrating on the shadow. Mm. My voice feels a bit funny. I think I had an extra long stream the other day. I don't know if it made my voice a little tired, but it should be fine. Well, as we move into the new year, anyone have any resolutions? That's a very good question. Perhaps. You see, I'm a cat. I am perfect in every way. I don't need resolutions. Ooh, on speaking of resolution, well, these aren't resolutions. This is more bingo. This is something I do with my friends every year. So basically, we all have kind of like goals, kind of like resolutions, right? And each person submits their stuff, and the first person to get bingo by the end of the year, they honestly they just win bragging rights. There's no real prize. It's a scam, fun scam. But anyway, hold on. Let me see if I can bring up the list. We're supposed to make like we're supposed to combine like hours to make up a total of 25, but some people are struggling, so we outsource. Let me see if I can find. Hmm. This doesn't dox anyone, does it? Okay. Should be good. So, this is what we have for 2026. We need like 13 more. Now, the ones that I made, my contributions are these ones. As you can see, I do have like a few normal human friends. So that one's pretty easy for me. Hmm. Any recommendations? It should be vague. It should be vague enough for like anyone to do it, but kind of specific enough that it has a measurable goal. Like you can measure it and say like this is 100% complete and no one can dispute it. Some of them are a little bit up to interpretation. Kind of like this one, hit significant professional milestone. So it's just anyone takes whatever they're doing, they fill in the blanks, and yeah. Why is true on the list? See, I asked this. I'm like, should we even have this? But the friend who added it, she's like, no, I believe everyone here is capable of this. Honestly, they just want to be invited to weddings. That is why they put it. This one could be my excuse to get back into cosplay. So, two birds with one stone. That's not easily possible. Okay, what if, Ryan, I go to Vegas? We have one of those very quick and easy marriages, and then we mark it as check in bingo, and then we get an annulment, basically cancel it. So we're not actually married. Problemo solved. I was even like talking to them. I was like, hey, what are we even supposed to like? Is this really realistic? Because honestly, down the future, what's someone gonna say like, oh, how did you guys meet? And my response would be, see, I really wanted to win 2026 bingo, so. But yeah, these are what we have so far. I think they texted me like about an hour ago, like, hey, this is what we have. Can you come up with more? Because some people may not be able to. So, yeah, if there's no other suggestions, you guys can think about it. Pitch it to me throughout the stream. I will see. Okay, eyes are done. Hmm. Well, one thing I'm glad that I don't have on my 2026 goals is getting a PC because, yeah. Salute to everyone who was planning that this year. They say the RAM shortage is probably gonna clear up maybe 2027. So there's the GPU too. Honestly, it's everything. We can blame AI. Think it's just too a privileged thing now, apparently. It shouldn't be. I think it used to be way back when, but now literally everyone for every job needs a computer in one way or another. Well, I would say every. Most jobs that aren't like physical labor. So yeah. Even though the tech has advanced, I wouldn't say it's gone too far. Because, like most things, technology is a tool. All that matters is how you use it. Okay, done with the eye. No, wait, I have to make it jiggle. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but we seem to be getting through models a lot faster. Are we actually being productive here? This model is so adorable. Yeah, it came out nicely. It basically looks like the reference that was provided. Yeah, I did do a little touching up with the shading, which is always nice. It really gives it like the 3D aspect. And one thing that I've noticed I love doing when it comes to shading is drawing the shadow and then removing a little bit reflected light, right? It really makes it seem 3D. It's a tiny difference, but it works. Ooh, also today I brought out my heated blankets and I just placed them on the ground, turned them on, and my cats have been loving it. Like they just like plop down and stretch and spread all over it. I think they like it. Hold on, I think I have a picture. I really should post more in the pet channel. Hold on, let me show you how the feline tension in my room. Where is this thing? Who'd I send it to? Okay, here we are. As you can see, Wally here really wants to go on the blanket as well, but he's scared of Julian because whenever he's nearby, he can't handle himself and he has to smack her and then she beats him up. So yeah, he's terrified. But look at them. I feel like this could be turned into like a classical painting. Not so much her pose, but like his. My cats are works of art. Are they fighting? No. But usually, if they get too close, they start staring at each other. And then Julian growls to warn him away. And then he hears the growling and is like, "Why does she want to fight me? Does she? Should I fight back?" And then they start squabbling. Never anything vicious. It's just like a smack here and there when the other ones are not looking. The only time there's like vicious cat fights is when Julian sees the other housemate's cats. Oh, she goes straight for the kill. Zero hesitation. She sees them, immediately starts screaming bloody murder, and then she sprints as fast as she can to beat them up. I have no idea why. She has never been like this. Even with the other cats that I fostered, even when Wally was new and would constantly chase and try to like beat her up. I say try because it was never successful. Right? She would never be angry at another cat like this. Even when I moved here, she was cool with all of them. And then winter came, and suddenly she became very irritable. And yeah, either that or she has been possessed by a. Hmm. It's either demons or she's been secretly replaced by a skinwalker. Hmm. No, I don't think so. Because she behaves the same, like, rest of the time. She's like 100% herself until she sees the other cats. Then it's just like she goes feral. A skinwalker basically. Hold on. A skinwalker is people who turn into animals or animals that turn into people. It's one of them. Hold on. I don't know the lore. In fact, like, it was a joke a friend of mine made like a really long time ago. Because she'd have sometimes like very oddly human behaviors. And I'd be like, that's strange. And then she does dumb shit like get tangled up in a piece of string. So yeah, cats are weird. That is funny. Yeah, they do keep things a little lively around here. And that's all I'll say. That's why I like cats. They make good company, even if they're little gremlins. You know. Also, here the weather finally got cold enough for me to like go to bed, wear a sweater, long pants, two blankets, right? So I'm all like nice and cozy. And it was cold like that for exactly one day. Next day, I wore the same outfit, instantly sweating and boiling alive. I don't like British weather. It changes way too quickly. You see, the thing about the tropics is the weather will always change. Like today and tomorrow, maximum difference is like 2 or 3 degrees. Whereas over here, sometimes it can feel like it changes by like 10, sometimes within the day. And I don't like that. I think I'm just too used to the tropics. And as I was buying my pizza to celebrate the new year, I was just there sobbing, thinking about the Malaysian prices. I think I would have gotten the exact same meal for like a quarter of the price. My heart has not yet adjusted to using pounds. Like it's more expensive every year. Honestly, fair. Inflation is a thing. Like it costs more. Sorry, it only costs more because the money is like the value is less. It's a matter of time when the prices feel like pounds. Honestly, how would I put this? So when I first came to Malaysia, I would buy a large pizza for like 15 ringgit. That is $4. When I was leaving Malaysia, the price had increased to like 18 ringgit for like the same deal. And that was like a difference of 6, 7 years. So honestly, it's not that crazy of an increase. The reason I really feel the difference here is because it didn't jump by a small percentage. When the moment got off the plane, everything was like 6 to 10 times more expensive. Well, I'm not complaining. I'm just like pointing out the cultural differences. Not cultural. I don't know what the word for it is. Difference in living costs, I guess. Honestly, I had the exact same thing happen when I went to Malaysia because when I went there, everything was like way cheaper in comparison. Like the first time I moved there, and I was like, wow, everything is so cheap. And then after spending so many years there, those prices were no longer cheap, they became normal. Now the opposite is happening. But honestly, I think I've just started to get used to it a little bit. Okay, this eye is basically done. Okay, time to flip it. I'm reading your name and I'm like, real Mr. Peepee. Is that what you'd like to be called? But welcome on in. Peepee the real part is for those who know I'm real. Regardless, welcome on in. Just doing some art, doing some yapping. Oops. Oh no, wait, I do have to copy this. You know, most people I'm someone who has traveled around a lot, especially when I was younger. Mm, I find that okay, moving to me is something that is like a very normal part of life. Like whenever I move to a place, I try to not buy large things, especially not large expensive things like furniture, because I always have the frame of mind of like, oh, if I have to move and I can't fit it in my suitcases, like I'm gonna have to abandon it. So yeah, I think this is one of the first times where I think I'm gonna be here for like a while. So I'm slowly trying to like shift out of that mindset of like everything is temporary. But it's not a very common experience to like move countries as often as I have. In fact, when I came here, I was looking at like jobs and stuff. A lot of the times, they always ask like where you live, and whenever like something was more than like a couple towns over, and I'd like pop in, they'd always be very surprised because apparently most people aren't interested in commuting or relocating. It's just like I was born here, I lived here most of my life, and don't intend to move. So I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just a concept that is a little bit strange to me. It's just not what I'm used to. I don't know if I'm alone in that. What about you guys? Ever moved around a lot or because for me, my situation was I lived with my parents and then I traveled to go for studies. So I was there for like a really long time. And then I moved to work, was there for like a significant bit. And then I moved here. So I'm just like bouncing around the world. Honestly, it's exhausting. I think I hate planes. You know, everyone if you see in the movies people go to the airports, they're like happy and excited. I hate planes a lot. In fact, when I go in like a train, it feels too much like a plane, and immediately I'm like, oh god. I'm remembering like the 20-hour plus flights. It's been like 6 years since I left the state I live in. How are you adjusting? Or is it like become your new home? Because I feel like I lived a similar amount of time in Malaysia. And by the end of it, I felt like really comfortable, you know? Like I had fully integrated and like adjusted. I don't think I could completely because, like I'm a foreigner in a country. Oh, sorry, I misread that. I thought you like moved somewhere else. I only live in one state. I just haven't left in 6 years. Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood. I feel like there's a kind of peace that comes with that. You you know where everything is. When changes happen, they happen gradually. So I think I'm like starting to get used to that. Like for example, I'm thinking about getting a car, and cars are not something you can take with you when you move. So, I'm even like buying the absolute cheapest thing that I can find that works and won't break down. So I'm like, if I have to like get rid of it, it'll be fine. You know, I still have like that mindset. Is it because it takes too long to get to your destination? Yes, they're very uncomfortable to be in for like more than a few hours. Cat, hi, Hotcheck, welcome on in. We're talking about moving countries and traveling. Planes are nice to be in since it's just a constant metronome movement. That's what that's what you would assume until about like hour number 4, and then your legs are killing you. You have to pee, but there's like 7 people queuing outside the bathroom. There is a child who's been screaming nonstop for like the past 3 hours. Mm, yeah. Oh, I would love to move countries, Japan or Sweden. I don't know about Japan. Okay, Japan maybe if you are earning international money, because it's one of those countries with like I think low cost of living. Now the problem with those countries is if a country is low cost of living, it's you also don't earn much working there. But if you are earning like internationally, like online, and you live in a place with low cost of living, you basically your money is worth way more. I know nothing about Sweden. Although Japan, I hear it does have its troubles, like every place on earth. But yeah, I see like a lot of the creators who basically have lived in Japan for ages. They don't complain, but they have shared like their horror stories. It's it's always tough like if you live in a country that you're not native to. Japan travel times are rough and the work culture is really bad. Ooh, I hear it's like one of the worst in the world. That's why I said like if you're working online, like you're not working in Japan, you're just in Japan while working. I don't know if that makes sense. Like for example, me, I'm an artist. I have the same work wherever I go, which is why it was really nice in Malaysia. Uh because everything was like so cheap. I could spoil myself and my cats. So yeah, I've only gone wait, only went into the place a handful of times. If you're traveling domestically, you probably wouldn't have like the dislike of planes that I do, or like shorter flights. Even if like if I did, I don't think I would. But every time I get on a plane, I immediately have the flashbacks to being there for like 20 hours. But I do hear like Japan is starting to like crack down a little bit on people who want to like go there even for like tourism. Apparently people have to take like an etiquette test before like showing up. It's honestly just like a lot of annoying tourists who show up and like make a lot of problems. What about the nice scenery? Nice scenery gets old if you've been looking at it for like 20 plus hours. Also, I'm always lucky enough to get like a window seat. Okay, I don't think it's luck. I think it's because I arrive at the airport like 3 hours before a flight, and I'm like one of the first people to check in, and they just like assign me a window seat. I'm back. Welcome back. I don't know when you left off, but we're yapping about Japan work culture. I don't watch like a lot of creators who make like Japan content in quote, but one that I really enjoy is what's his name? His name is Chris Broad, I think. Abroad in Japan. I think that's his channel name. He's like VA. Oh no, not him. Sea Dog, I think he, yeah, I think he just is in Japan and makes content. I don't think he makes Japan content. Oh wait, I think he does vlogs, but I haven't like really seen those. Not unless it's like special events, because I've seen like the cycling ones. Hold on, let me bring this up. I think this is like one of the, yeah, this is one of like the only travel channels that I enjoy. Yeah, this guy. Hold on, this guy. The videos are very interesting. Have you seen the restaurant he did with Iron Mask? I have not. Hold on, let me Google that. Okay, I'm just seeing a 1 hour long video. I made Connor eat the whole menu at our cafe. Hmm. I'm seeing a menu. Ooh, this looks. Hmm. I didn't know about this. Although these do look delicious. I wondered if it's the right one. Then I saw yen. I was like, yep. Oh yeah, by the way, for context, I put a heated blanket on the ground and my cats are they're trying to put aside their differences so that they can both enjoy it. But as you can see, Wally is scared for his life. Yeah, I see Julian just like splayed out all over it. Anyway, I love my cats. But yeah, haven't seen like anything to do with the restaurant. Hmm. Nope. I didn't come across my YouTube. I try not to watch like too much stuff on YouTube that is not something that is listen only, if that makes sense. Even streams, most of the time they're on second monitor and I'm mainly just listening. That is like my kind of content, very podcasty stuff. What about you guys? Do you prefer like the high octane, high energy events, things that are like exciting to always be watching every minute of, full attention? Or do you prefer something that you just like put up on a second monitor, kind of like forget about, you know, just passively absorbing the information? To each his day, yeah, fair. I would say most of the time that's the kind of content I like. But there are days where, not even days, just like moments where I prefer something a little bit more exciting. Mainly when I'm eating. Because at that point, like my hands are busy, I can't do work. Is something wrong in my mouse wheel? Hmm. It was acting up. My previous one had like its problem where like I tried to scroll down and then it'll randomly detect that I'm scrolling up and it was a nightmare. I'm actually using my backup mouse. I had to like yoink it from the old one, my old PC. I miss that mouse. It had the side buttons where if I wanted to go back, I just click it. I don't actually have to go like to the back icon on the top left. I was very spoiled. I remember I used to use one of those ones for gaming because back then I broke like the W key on my laptop, so I couldn't move forward. So I had to like rebind every game that I played to the mouse. I do have a problem to just watch two at once. Do you mean you watch two streams at once? That's no good. Like this thing is broken. That in videos, understandable. I realized that when I thought, why am I hearing these other voices? It has happened to me before, like when I had a tab open that I forgot about. And I have these earbuds where when you plug them in, they just randomly start auto playing whatever is there. So sometimes I'd forget like I was watching something and I just plug them in and then yeah. Same with Spotify. I could have like not been listening to music all day. And then when I just plug them in, if the app is open, I think it's ADHD or something. I wouldn't know. I'm not a doctor. I do have some friends who are like studying. I have one who's learning cognitive neuroscience, another one who is doing standard psychology. You know what? I'll wait till they like get all their stuff together and then I'll be like, okay, so what is wrong with me? And then I don't have to pay hundreds of dollars going to another therapist. It's like WebMD, but reliable. Listening to two at once, quite the information load. I actually have done that. Like, how would you say this? When I would watch like GTA RP, sometimes two people are doing like one thing, like a bank heist. I would like have both open at the same time. You might already be the subject of their research. Honestly, yeah. Because I once asked something like that and they answered a little bit too quickly, which means they have thought about that. Ooh, and the other one, actually, when they were still studying, they would just randomly text me. They're like, hey, so we're learning about this in class. And I think this might be you. It describes you perfectly. It'll just be like a random Tuesday, and then one of my friends would just pop in and be like, "Hey, you know that thing which is just one of your random personality quirks that you've had all your life, and we all just like know about? Turns out that is a symptom of something else. Anyway, have fun," and then they vanish. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? You know what that reminds me of? Like a random fun fact. Have you guys ever watched the TV show Community? Is the one where those people just all go to community college? Let me grab the poster. This one. So apparently, one of the characters, I think he, this one, I think he has like Asperger's or what was it? I think it was autism or Asperger's, maybe both. And when the show was like airing and stuff, a lot of the viewer base is like, "Oh my god, this is like one of the best representations of like this in media," and you know, they're just basically patting the creator on the back, and the guy's like, "What do you mean? That's just how I am." And apparently that's how he found out like he actually had a lot of those conditions. Honestly, this is a beautiful show. I recommend it. That's just an aspect of the spectrum. Ah, okay, I'm not too familiar. I thought it was a separate thing. But yeah, that is a beautiful show. I recommend everyone watch it. Honestly, growing up, I have always been, how do you say this? People would watch these shows and be like, huh, that person reminds me a lot about you. And they point to like a character like that. Another one is another common one. I think is Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. I don't think it shows too much when I'm on stream because here I am doing my best to appear as a normal human being, as much as a cat can. But yeah, I think like my default settings always just like very, very literal, very monotone. Um, yeah, growing up, I actually had to like learn to add inflection and tone to my voice so I don't sound like a robot. Sometimes when I'm very tired, it kind of like comes back out. So I end up sounding like a very different. But yeah, what are some examples? I think the main three ones that come to my mind are Abed from Community. Another one people have told me is, like I said, Sheldon. Mm, have you guys ever watched that old Nickelodeon show, Marvin Marvin? The show is literally about an alien who came to Earth and just does not understand normal human societal norms. Hold on, I'm looking for the show poster. Yeah, I think this is one. So yeah, that was basically the plot of the. That was basically the plot of the entire show. Oh, we have ads, but people have Turbo, so it's all good. Honestly, I might. I considered getting Turbo, but then I realized I don't watch too many different streamers. I usually stick to like a handful. I heard that Turbo is very useful if you like bounce around a lot of streams. Sure, you don't get the emotes, but at the same time, you don't have to sit through ads, which honestly I think is like the worst part of Twitch. Turbo won't give you emotes. I don't think so. Because Turbo is just you don't get ads on any channel that you go on. But subbing is you don't get ads for that specific channel. At least that's my understanding of Turbo. Never used it before? Yeah, me neither. I'm still just working on the art. Try to get out the way. I forgot to change the scene. Hold on. A part of me was like, should I stream Divinity on stream? Then I'll have an excuse to play it more. But I think it'll be a very frustrating thing to watch because I'm playing on tactician mode, right? My fun comes from winning virtually unwinnable fights. So you guys will see me there, save scumming, doing every underhanded tactic that I can think of, and what the game intended to be like a normal 15-minute fight, I'd probably spend like an hour and a half just trying to get through that section. So keeping that in mind, I decided, you know what? It's fine. Oh, ads are done. That was surprisingly quick. Because I'm like, this is fun for me to do, but I don't know if it's fun to watch. Okay, this part is messed up. Hold on, let me fix it first. Like, you need to understand. I was playing this one scene where, like, a bunch of enemies were attacking, and it was basically defend person until they cast spell and you're all safe. So instead of fighting the enemy, I was like, okay, how can I time this so that I can get to where all of the dead allies are, loot them because some of them were merchants, dressed in time to escape the ship and not die. So I was going after the money. Also, I am a loot goblin through and through. Basically, anything that is not nailed down, I will steal. And anything that is nailed down, I will steal the nails and then the thing. I think that was a quote. One of my friends said that about me. I think it was a quote from, I don't remember what war. He is like a huge history buff. So he's like, well, in this war, this colonel and this is this, and he was giving me that explanation. But he was basically describing a real life loot goblin. I think it was some sabotage mission. They're basically stealing from the enemy. Hold on, let me see if I can find the quote. Okay, I think it's a Terry Pratchett quote. Oh no, this is something else. Apparently, this one is other thieves merely stole everything that was not nailed down, but this thief stole the nails as well. Yeah, that basically describes how I play any game. God, even like the Fallout games. I don't know if you guys have played 3. So basically, in that game, weapons have durability. So, if you shoot a gun enough times, it breaks. Now, the less durability it has, the cheaper the gun. Most guns you loot from bandits are like almost broken and basically worthless. What I do is I basically invest in my repair skill, pick up every gun that I find, merge them all together so I'm not carrying 20 guns. After which, I just have one really good, high durability weapon, and then I sell it and make a ton of money. My goal in every game like that is simply how do I become rich so I can just buy like 1,000 potions? Sounds a lot like arc raiders these days. Honestly, I'm tempted to get it. I see it has a sale, so I'm like, should I? Get guns and good attachments, either use it or sell it. I heard that like if you take like weapons and stuff and you get killed and someone steals it, like you lose it forever. And I don't know how to feel about that. I think two things will happen. Either A, actually I think one thing will happen. I will either A, never get any good weapons because like I'll always be killed, or B, I will get so many good weapons but be so afraid of losing them that I end up never using them at all. I'm one of those people who plays a game and is like, I'm gonna save this potion until I really need it. And then I finish the game with like 10,000 of them in my pockets. That's how I play. It's not easy getting over gear fear. Mm, yeah, understandable. I think I have gotten a little bit better. It doesn't help that some classic games make it so that if you don't keep your initial weapon, you can't get the ultimate weapon. They train people to hoard. I think I'm just a hoarder in general. I'm a bit of a Like the duality is very strong. I don't like to get things because I don't like to have clutter. Like I said, I move around, or at least I used to move around a lot. So I have the mentality of everything I own should fit in these two suitcases. At the same time, once I get something, I almost never want to let it go. I remember when I used to play Skyrim, every named weapon that I come across, I'd be like, wow, this is rare, this is novelty. Its stats are terrible and I will never use it. I take it anyway, I go to my house, I dump it in a chest. It sounds about right. Yeah, I had every enchanted weapon on racks, even if they're terrible. Exactly. You know what? There was this one mod. It was called Helgen Reborn. So it's one of those mods where, they add like a ton of it was basically a small DLC. This one was a quest where I think you go back to Helgen, like the first village. In the original game, it's completely destroyed. Like that's where you start the game. A dragon attacks, blows up everything, and you escape in the chaos. Now that mod basically gives you a full quest line of some guy who used to live there. I think like family or something. His family used to live there, but he's like, you know what? I'm getting old. I want to settle, but this place is terrible. And you have like a whole quest to fix up the place. Now, once you finish, you have like this massive tower, and in the basement is literally several rooms. They're all just stuffed with racks. It was made for people like me. Every there was basically so many weapon racks that you could not run out. You could take like basically every enchanted named weapon in the game, put it on display, and still have room to spare. You know those dragon masks that you can like collect? It even had like something where you can place them all on and like display them. It was awesome. That's my favorite thing with the mod. I would always get it in every playthrough just so I could have that tower. I think there was even this one section where they were like ghosts and they drop ethereal weapons. I would collect all of them because they look cool. They didn't do anything. Still nice to have. But what am I doing? So I was clicking on like the wrong settings. Oops. Mm, that's not good. The thing I don't like about like flesh fangs is they're a little complicated to deform with the mouth. That should be fine. If it's like a full body model, I'll actually have like a separate layer and it'll be a ton of clipping and all of that stuff. So it looks like extra nice. But that's a lot of work to do for a mascot, so we keep it all on one layer. What are some old retro games we could get back into? Because I've been liking Soul Reaver mainly because it's such a different experience compared to like what I'd play in the modern day. Like for example, the boss fights and the puzzle mechanics. I was like, I can't just hit this thing. You know what I mean? What's something that had like unique gameplay? What's unique for gameplay these days? Other than making decades of mechanics new, hard to say. It doesn't have to be super niche, just slightly unusual. Because one thing that I tried was when I played Baldur's Gate, I think that was the first time I played a turn based game like that. A video game, at least. Because I had played D&D. For me, Shining Force and the Sega was a lot of fun. Don't think I've heard of that one. Oh, I'm seeing like the very old 2D pixel effects. Sorry, not effects, graphic style. My brain is off today. Oh, let me share this. It looks like a strategy game to me. The map system in Hollow Knight is the one it's most unique. I was on the Sega, so they didn't have 3D graphics. Understandable. One of the images I see, I think, is like a thumbnail for someone, and it just says the 90s are back. We might have to look into getting an emulator. I did see the some corpo VTubers talking about emulators, and they were like, "Oh, we might have to like stop playing these certain games because like as an individual, most companies won't do anything. But like since they were a corpo VTuber, right? They're like, oh, we actually might get sued if they really want to. So they're like, I don't think we can do this anymore. They skirt the line of legality, yeah. Now, most cases, it's small to the point that even if the company's aware, like one of their employees just pops by, sees it, they wouldn't care. But if it's like a big company that does it, then suddenly it's a major issue. Because like if they sue an individual, I don't think they're gonna get much. But if it's a company, that's a different ball game. Believe a map system is so bare bones that is unique because it reflects real life map. I see. I wonder if Naughty Dog would get mad if someone played Power Rings that was on the Sega. Naughty Dog. I was about to think like, are they the ones who made Watch Dogs? And I'm like, no, I think that's Ubisoft. It had a saucy code that could be entered that showed something that would have increased the rating of the game. Ah. I feel like one thing that has been lost over the years is a small little codes and Easter eggs like that. You know, things that are in a game and they end up not being found for like so many years. I feel like that's something that you don't really see anymore in like a lot of games, unless they specifically put it there because, you know, they want fans to make theories. Kind of like FNAF games and stuff. But yeah, something that even the people at the company don't know about. You know, just like one guy did something and like was hush hush about it. I feel like I really like those kinds of stuff. It makes something a lot more interesting. But I feel like if anything like that happened nowadays, one guy will find it and be like, "Oh my god, this is such a crazy thing," and then how do you do that? How do you say this? Yeah, one person would see it. They'll make like a giant YouTube video on it, gets 2 million views, and now everyone knows about it. You know, could reviews kind of prevent that? Hmm, could be sneaky. There are ways. It doesn't have to be named. It could name it as like alternative outfit something something. For example, if there are like six outfits, be like outfit number 7. Sometimes people wouldn't notice, but it's only triggered under like certain circumstances, you know, like on a full moon and this thing, and then that code is entered, you know. So under review, no one finds it. Still be known by the code reviewer. Ah, well. Now, if the code reviewer was in on it as well, it's really hard to hide those things. Yeah, I'm just trying to think like if I really, really, really wanted to, like, how tough would it be? That would be a conspiracy and it'd be something different. Yeah, that's why you gotta be buddy buddy with the code reviewer. You could be like, hey, this thing is in here, but we have to be hush hush about it. Because if the company knows, someone is gonna spill the beans and then everyone will know. But if we leave it like this, then the players discover it on their own. Nothing saucy, that's a whole different can of worms. But something secret, something interesting. What would we put if we were making a game? Halo had a hidden weapon that took years to find. I was actually just thinking weapons because I'm like, if I want to motivate my min maxer friends who the only thing they care about is stats, hidden weapons. What weapon was hidden in Halo? Also, I've only ever played Halo Combat Evolved, very first game. I used to be a beast at that in high school. Oh, I'm seeing like long videos on it. Never heard of it. It's basically Halo 1. There was an article in it many years ago. I just opened like the wiki and I see hidden weapons on the Pillar of Autumn. Hmm. No, I don't think this is it. Ah, well. We talked about it, which means it'll probably pop up on my recommended tomorrow morning. I think that was it. Oh, this one is just like, oh, you poke at a box and then a shotgun appears. Was that it? I thought it'd be like unique weapon that's found nowhere else in the game. And then you have for like the next 20 years people trying to piece together like the lore of like how it got there, and then they'll be like, oh well, maybe this guy was secretly working with the aliens, that's why there was an alien gun in his cabin or some other nonsense. I was impressive just hidden. You see, you gotta get the theorists involved. That way they will start like explaining the game to people who have never heard of it, and they'll like the lore just enough that they might actually pick up the game. It's all marketing. It looks kind of weird. Speaking of weird, do you want to know what Wally's crime of the day was? So, randomly in my room, I start smelling pee, and I check every inch of the floor, and I can't for the life of me find a puddle. And I was like, my cats are normally well behaved. They only ever pee in the litter box. Now, there have been exceptions where Wally has peed inside of a trash bag for some reason, because I used to just keep it on the ground. Now, I am smelling it. I can for the life of me find out where it's coming from, but it's very close to my desk. It's not on the ground, it's not on the bed. It is mysteriously hanging in the air, right? Like that's where it's strongest. I'm walking around just like sniffing, like, where is this smell coming from? Until I realize it is coming from like my window. So I go check the windowsill because Wally sits there quite often. And that's when I realize, the windowsill is dry, but the smell is very strong from here and it's not coming from outside. And then I sniff the curtain and I am hit with a full stench of cat pee. Apparently, it was bunched up by the windowsill, and Wally decided to pee on it and using, what is it? Osmosis. It kind of just soaked up the entire curtain. So it was all a little bit damp. You guys ever like put a tissue or something in water and you just see like how it's absorbing all of the water until the whole thing is wet? That's basically what happened with Wally's pee in the curtain. I was like, oh, this thing is terrible, and my room now stinks. So I had to yoink it down and throw it in the washing machine. Just when I think that he has found all the ways to commit atrocities in my room, he finds new ones. Anyway, welcome to owning cats. He heard his name, so he's just like looking at me. He knows what he did. He's not even the slightest bit ashamed. This actually might be useful here. Hmm. Sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, Wally's a little menace. But he's so cute though, so I forgive him. He's like this little goober. I keep trying to tell his mom about the crimes that her son commits. Falls on deaf ears. At the end of the day, it's like a cat. Oh, again, at the end of the day, he's a cat, so he's just doing cat things. But I like to be dramatic about it. Oh, but the other day I noticed he was limping for some reason. So I thought maybe he got a splinter because I have like this log tied to my bedpole, and I like to scratch it, and it does cause like some splinters to fall, which I clean up most of the time. But I checked his paw and there was like nothing there, and I was a little worried. And after enough time, I realized he just stopped limping. So I was like, I don't know what that was about. As I say this, I think I mentioned it last stream. But yeah, I was a little worried about him. But so far, so good. Also, the longer I own my cats, the more I see similarities in how my parents would be with my brothers and I when we were like way younger. It's coming full cycle. Because a lot of the times, my parents are the kind of like, oh, when you have your own kids, you'll understand what we're talking about. I have cats and I'm kind of getting it. I think it's coming out adorably. I see Julian kind of just like eating in quotes in her sleep. I think she's dreaming of tuna. She does that randomly. She'll just be sleeping, and then I see her just like kind of stick her tongue out like she's like licking something, but she's like fast asleep. Okay, eyes done, mouth done. Mm, can do the physics. I feel like that's a bit too much. Man, so cute. Thank you. Because of the blend here, I don't want to make it jiggle too much. Because if it jiggles too much, you'll notice like that's what is it. That's what it's like. See, I don't want it to go like this. I think that's enough. I think mascots will always be like my favorite thing to do. I think it's just something about the simplicity of it. Okay, let's give that a try. He has little ear wiggles. Hmm. It's a little subtle, but I'll make the whole head jiggle as well, and it'll kind of amplify this one as well. So if I make it like, if I do it too much now, it'll kind of break in the future. Also, a lot of the times when I get like designs, I don't know what is like, for example, I don't know if this is a hard object or if it's like jiggly and squishy. But people seem to like jiggly and squishy, so that's what we're going for. Makes everything cuter. Yeah. I think jiggle and squishy is like hard to do. Like a lot of models tend to be a little on the stiffer side, but I really like to make it jiggle and swish like a crazy amount. That's just what I like. Okay, this could be a bit higher. Ooh, and when piloting models, it's always like a good idea to like just be a little bouncy. I was thinking about the season finale of Stranger Things, and I wanted to talk about that, but I think it aired out either today or yesterday, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So we'll circle back to that one in a few days. I have thoughts. Never seen it. I'd say it's a pretty good show. Oh, oops. Made a mistake here. Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good show. It does have like a very rabid fan base. So I don't know how to feel about them. But if you ignore all of that and just watch the show on its own, it's pretty good. What is Stranger Things about? The Strange Things? Surprisingly, yes. But it's not one of those random shows where they just talk about like random weird things. This one is the story goes by just some random boy disappears, and now all of his friends are like trying to find him, and the police are like, oh, maybe he was kidnapped, but the other kids are like, they're just like trying to trace his steps. They find like signs of him somewhere else. Next thing they know is he was taken by a monster and put in like a different dimension. So they're just like trying to find out how to get there and how to get him back. And that's just like season one. It gets like more in depth later on. And honestly, that show has gone on for like such a long time that all of the actors and actresses, especially the children, by the time the show finished, they're all like adults now. Like at the end, like in the finale, they did have like some flashbacks to the earlier seasons, and they look like babies. I was like, oh, I forgot this thing has been airing for ages. I think it's a pretty good show. The whole Stranger Thing is finding that one friend. It's finding that one friend and then realizing there's a threat of monsters, and then now they have to save the town because none of the adults believe that monsters are killing people. Like it's taken more people, but those guys only care about their friends. So I mean, that's how it is in like most movies. So I can understand. That is somehow worse. I had another thought, but it's spoilers. I'm trying to be respectful. Okay, let's see if that works. It's a little better. In a perfect world, this ball would be a separate layer. I think it's fine. The problem with rigging is it can always be better. The more time you spend on it, like the better quality it'll be. The trouble that I have as an artist is learning, how do you say this? Not with this ball, just like in general, is learning to not spend 10 hours on something that only slightly increases like the quality, you know? I try to manage my time a bit more. It's a process that I've been refining for some time now. I think I've gotten the hang of it. Like I think I've gotten a little bit better at like glancing at a model and be like, this could be rigged like that. This will take me this long, you know. So I can like charge. I'm like, okay, this one will, like, usually most people have like the starting price. I'm like, okay, they have this price, so this will pay for these many hours, and if I do it like this, yeah, I can finish it in like roughly that time. It's not exact, but you know, if I'm off by like a day or two, like it doesn't matter too much. Rather than like, oh, okay, I see this, it looks simple, and then I take it, and then it ends up taking like 4 times as long, you know. So yeah. Because like at the end of the day, if you're an artist, what you're being paid for is not really the product. You're basically being paid for how much time you spend making it. You guys ever see like that one meme? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, you guys ever see this one meme? Hold on, let me put it up on screen. You guys ever see this? I think this is like the best way to describe things being rushed. So, in a nutshell, usually like when it comes to like models and the budgets, the it's kind of like divided like this. It'll never be like this, but imagine like these two, right? Because I'm like, okay, this is, the art will look the same, but the rigging, like be, behind the scenes, and like how jiggly certain things are, is basically like that. Because like at the end of the day, if someone has like a higher budget, I can put like more time into it. So this is basically how like being an artist is like. So yeah, the tricky part is there are always some people who are like, I have this thing, but at the same time, I want it in like a week, but here's like $2. You know, it's a bit like the pick two triangle, cheap, fast, and good. Yeah, I really love that triangle. Let me put it on screen. Yeah, I found a good one. Hold on. Let me trim the edges. Wait, that's a bit too small. Hold on, I've got yeah, good, fast, and cheap. Um, cheap and fast, low quality. Good and cheap, kind of slow. I feel like when I first started doing art, right in the early days, I was actually over here because I was doing this while being like busy with other stuff, and since I was new to it and less experienced, triangle. Oh, this thing. It's a Venn diagram, I guess, but yeah. Anyway, when I first started, um, I think I had the skill, but I didn't have the experience, which means the rigs were good, but they take like forever to do. And since I was like a new artist, I do the normal artist thing and undercharge because most artists don't understand the worth of their craft until like later on. So I started here, but I think, mm, hmm, where have I moved on to? I'm here, and as time went on, and I started upping my prices because of like demand and quality increases. I think I've moved a little bit here, especially when people have like rush fees. Because a lot of people, what happens is they're like, "Oh, I want a model, and I plan to debut in like a month or so," which means I basically have to drop everything and work on that one until it's done. Which I only ever do if they're willing to like pay to cut the queue, because then it ends up not being fair on like other people who are just like commission normally. Most development slides use a triangle where the user has to pick where to focus on, but basically you can get it good, fast, and cheap. Understandable. So I think this is where I've moved to. Because like when I first started, I think I would do like a full models for like I think $150. I think that's like the lowest I have ever been commissioned for a model. Not counting free ones, which I did like for fun and practice. But yeah. Hmm. Should I put this on VGen? Nah, I don't want someone to get the wrong idea. I don't want to come off as like pretentious. You know, sometimes when people like DM me there, they are how do you say this? They're like very shy and they talk like I might like bite their head off. You know, you guys ever like see people like that? Which I think is a little funny. But yeah, as soon as like I start talking to them and I'm like extra cheerful and you know all of that stuff, they seem to relax a little bit. One of them even like sometimes this is the craziest thing. They apologize for DMing me, and I was like, huh. I don't think it's bad, but it's like I can understand in the context of like you're reaching out to a random person for like something, and you might be bothering them. But like for commissions, I mean, again, I don't think it's bad. I just think it's interesting. But yeah, I forgot how we got here. We were talking about commissions. Hmm. Actually, I still think I'm a little bit here. Not because I'm slow at making the not because I'm slow at making the models, but simply because I just have a long wait list. Right? I think it spans into end of May or June currently. Something like that. But yeah, they do take a while unless someone is willing to cough up the dough for rush fees. And honestly, if it's something that is rushed, but is not like too soon, like someone is like, "Hey, I need it by this date," and it's like 3 months from now, and I'm like, I could offer that without the rush, without charging a rush fee. So I just accepted. But they actually have been like there was once where someone is like, oh, I need this thing in like 2 weeks. And here is like my budget, which is like the base price. And I was like, oh, okay. I saw it as someone who didn't understand like these things take time and there's like a queue. So I'm like, yeah, okay. For the base price, you can have this. But in order to get it by this time, it's 100% rush fee. Now that is the card I play when I'm like when I try to like politely explain to someone that there is a queue. But I'm like, hey, this is an extra cost if you want to buy this deadline, but by that one, there's no rush fee, so it'll actually cost you like way cheaper. Um, and I was half expecting it to go like, oh, okay, I don't mind. I can wait because that's what usually happens. But then someone is like, oh, okay, no worries. A slap doubles the fee, and I was like, I guess I push it, just casually push everything aside, work on that one to very barely meet the deadline. But yeah, I have my artist adventures. It's mostly just answering DMs and scrambling to finish before deadlines. Good problem to have. Fortunately, I don't have any crazy short deadlines. So I have like room to breathe. I think November and December, I think like I squeezed a little bit too many commissions into like the same month. And a couple people also wanted rush fees, so it was a little bit packed. I took January as a little bit of a break. I think I only have a couple commissions due at the end of January, early February. So I'll have some room to breathe, rest, recover, maybe do some art for fun. I think that's very important. Like for example, art for fun. I was learning gifs, and I made this one. I'm very happy with how it turned out. This one, I think it's adorable. The Evernight gif is very cute. Do you mean this one? I don't know what it was called, but I saw online people refer to it as Lonely Dance. So yeah, it's from Evernight. Oh, I'm not familiar. I actually have no idea what Evernight is. I just saw like a couple of people use this. One was from I think Bochi the Rock, the MC, and the other one was who was it? I think it was the Japanese singer. One of them. Yeah. I saw that. I really loved it. I'm like, you know what? I want one. This is frame by frame animation, which is not something I know too much about, but I have been learning. I have experimented a little bit with it, but I'm like, this is a challenge of something really difficult to make. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I saw someone who made it in like live 2D, and I considered doing that, but I'm like, it looks too smooth as a live 2D animation. But what I did was I'm like, you know what? I want the scrungliness and a little bit of the low quality essence of the frame by frame animation. So I went for this one. It was tough. I think it's like 30 plus frames. So the eyes being dead is hers from the GIF. Ah, you know what? I'm actually curious. Let me search it up. Evernight GIF. Ooh, I see it. Hmm. Okay, I see like the original. I found the original work on Reddit. It's so adorable. I love it. I would never open commissions for it. It was like a ton of work to do. which is the original. I think this is the original post. Yeah, because I was just scrolling through the comments and someone was asking, who is the original artist? And someone just posted that one. Yeah. Honestly, it is beautiful. I don't think I'm there yet where I can make one without like a guide. Because like I basically have to analyze a GIF and like really break it down into its pieces, be like, okay, how does this move and all of that. Then I can like kind of recreate it a little bit. So that's like where I am in my studies. Now this is one that I'm doing just like purely for fun. I don't think I will ever open frame by frame animation commissions. Maybe, but they'll be kind of expensive. Like this one like this, I think I would charge like a $50 minimum, maybe more, because it is like, yeah, it was a lot. I have seen some commissions for it. I didn't like the quality. Like they were good, but not perfect. And I'm a perfectionist. So that's why I considered it. Hmm. Maybe I should open it as one of those like commissions I don't expect anyone to ever like do. And then randomly, just one day, I'll like get a request for it. We'll see. Because I think I closed all my commissions for like everything that is not full body models and mascots. I used to do chibi drawings. Like you see this little teacup. Um I think I've told this story before. It This little teacup. It started out as a PNG and I used to do like illustrations. Okay, let me just remove that. Yeah, I used to do like illustrations, but I'm a much better rigger than I am artist. So for the quality of the art, the quality is kind of low in quotes, and the time it takes is like a lot. So like dollar per hour that I make on illustrations is not a lot. But when it comes to mascots, because at the end of the day, I don't look at like how much I make per project. I'm like, this project will earn me this much and take this long. So how much like money am I making like per day, per hour, etc. So that's like the important, yeah, that's the important thing to notice. Because I think you'll always see people complaining about like everything online, but I think that like some people complain about like VTuber models being expensive. And again, these are just angry people on Twitter. I think one thing they fail to realize is, sure, the model is like kind of pricey, but they take a long time to make, and that artist has bills to pay while they're making them. So yeah, I think it's just they don't understand. Like maybe they're a bit on the young side and don't like understand how the world works. It's a hard thing to master too. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not being paid for just the time spent doing it. I'm also being paid for the amount of time I spent learning to do it well. That last part I think is something that a lot of people fail to account for. But at the end of the day, if like cost is really a major concern, they are pay to use models. They tend to be like cheaper. And sure, you may not have like exclusive rights to it, but it is a great way to just start off. I've actually considered making a customizable model. I don't think I want to do that for mascots. It's too easy to be stolen and sold. Mm, so I don't know. That's my concern when it comes to customizable models. People will just like buy it and redistribute it. Even for like my pay to use models, I've gone through like a lot of lengths to, how do you say this, kind of protected. So like if someone tries to resell it, like they know I'm the one who created it. It has a watermark. It has the thing in the name. Actually, I don't know if you can change the names of files in VTube Studio. Can you? Hmm. I think you can change the name of it that appears in the app, but like the files themselves, the .json files, I don't think those ones can be changed. I tried changing it manually. I'm like, what if someone just goes in and renames all of them? It breaks things like a lot. So I'm like, if my name is in the project files, someone opens it up, it's like this mascot by Ordikai VT. And then I think in brackets I even wrote, I'm like, do not redistribute if bought from other places from this is this. Please report, all of that stuff. I put it in the actual name of the model. It's things that people wouldn't see unless they're looking at like the files themselves. Like for example, this little guy, right? You don't see anything wrong, but when someone boots up the file for the first time, there's actually like a an Ordikai watermark that you have to like toggle off. And when you're putting the files into like the app itself, you can actually see like, oh, this has like my name on it. So if they buy it from someone else and like, that's a bit suspicious. Is it completely foolproof? Probably not. People may not notice. And even if they do, some people will just not care. They're like, I got the model, I paid money for it. Shrugs vaguely. So yeah, I do what I can, but at the end of the day, life goes on. So yeah, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, customizable model. Maybe in the future. But we have yapped about like the behind the scenes a lot today. I'm not. I would even consider myself like a professional artist who knows like a lot of things in the industry. I'm just a cat who does art. So whatever I say, take it with a pinch of salt. And as for the anti redistribution measures, maybe I'm being a little bit paranoid. But who knows? Better safe than sorry. Okay, we have the ear wiggle, the antenna, the eyes. That's a bit much. I wanted to jiggle very subtly. I think that's okay. Okay, I am pretty tired today, and my voice is a little bit strained. I tried not to use my humidifier today because I realized humid environments cause flea eggs to hatch. Because I notice every time I use it, like the day after, I see my cat like aggressively licking herself. But since they have the flea medicine, those fleas die very quickly. So to prevent them from hatching, I don't know if I want to use my humidifier as much. Hmm. I do feel the effect it has on my voice, but that just could be from last stream. I'm extra tired. So I don't know. Mm, well, we'll experiment. We'll see. Tomorrow we have game day, so I think I want to continue Soul Reaver. I don't know if I'll do art in the beginning of that, or maybe just jump straight into the game. Actually, I think I'll just jump straight into the game. So yeah, it'll be a little bit more relaxed, and yeah, I look forward to that. I don't know how long the game is, so I guess we'll see. Okay. Let us call it a day and start raiding into Kaji. That's how he said his name is pronounced. I worked on the mascot for this one, so yeah, be sure to send love and all of that stuff. I think I want to go to bed now, so I will see you all later. Bye bye.